Welcome back to my channel. My name is Lorelei and you are watching a new knitting vlog. This is knitting vlog number 82. Today is October 7th, 2023. And I'm going to talk today about some finished objects, my current whips, a little field trip I took recently, the haul from that, and maybe talk a little bit about some future knitting plans, and so let's catch up. If you're into that, just stick around. You hopefully have seen a small snippet of video that I took from Harrisville Designs. At the end of August, my husband and I went on a trip to New Hampshire. Kind of a makeup vacation from a failed earlier attempt of a vacation for our anniversary in July. We were married this year 21 years. So we tried to go away and had a little bit of a critter issue in our Airbnb and ended up fleeing to Joe's mother's house for 2 days. So this wasn't really what I had in mind. So we decided to book this Airbnb in New Hampshire. And the way that came about, which I think is kind of a fun story, so I'm going to share it with you. If you don't care, you can fast forward to all the knitting stuff. There is knitting stuff involved in this story eventually. But we rented this Airbnb that I saw on a YouTube channel called Trout and Coffee, which I recommend if you ever are looking for something fun to watch. It's a young couple that they have a cabin in the woods, and they've done a lot of the work on the cabin themselves, and they also have merch and coffee. And anyway, they took a recent trip to New Hampshire, to the southern area of New Hampshire, and they rented this cabin that was kind of perched on the bank of a small pond, a large pond, and it looked so amazing. Of course, this guy's a videographer, so he takes really great video. And I fell in love with the place. So of course, at the time, I showed Joe, we watched the video together, and the place was not available. So, not only that, but we kind of knew the price range of it, and because the guy left the link to the place in his video. So that's how I've, found out all the details or whatever. Fast forward a couple of weeks, I was sitting outside writing a letter to my sister and decided out of the blue to look to see, because I was telling her about the place in the letter. Come to find out, it was available the last week of August. So I talked to Joe and we decided to rent it out for 3 days. So we drove there and it was wonderful. I mean, so wonderful. So peaceful, so beautiful. There was a little bit of road noise, which is my only complaint about the place, but from the outside, you would think it's an unassuming little cabin, probably very rustic inside. It was actually very nice inside. It had all of the amenities that we would need. It was extremely comfortable. The bed was amazing. The sheets were amazing. The shower was amazing. Had great water pressure. I have zero complaints. The place was wonderful. Not only that, but the host was incredible. 5 stars. So while we were there, we were close enough to Harrisville, so we decided to go one day and check it out. So I really didn't know what to expect. I didn't know anything about Harrisville Designs, the yarn mill there. It is comprised the area of all of these little brick buildings, and I didn't get a tour. I should have, because it would have been really cool to see how they all operate there. But they do have a really great yarn store on the premises. So of course we went there. Of course we did. So what was really fun about going there with with my husband, we don't normally do yarn type things together. So, we were walking around the shop, which was really great. I mean, had just a really great feeling to it. Has had like a lot of beautiful, colorful yarns. It was very, very fun. And he got wrapped up in it too and was trying on all the hats. And he's like, well, I want you to knit me a hat. And I said, okay, I will. Show me, which one do you like? And of course, I kind of had to steer him a little bit because he was picking hats that to me had a kind of a feminine flair to them, like with baubles and stuff. But he has a very big head, and he was trying them on and loving all of them. So anyway, I talked him into picking out this particular hat that I have on my head. Actually, this is his hat. So this is the pattern that we ended up getting for him. It's called a car. This is by Sarah Solomon. And the color he chose was Nightshades, the Nightshades yarn by Harrisville, and the color is Static. So it's kind of the darkest black with just a little bit of white fleck through it. So he was just so excited about this, and I was excited to actually knit something for him, because I'm generally a pretty selfish knitter. So it's called the Cabled Beanie or Watch Cap. I didn't make the beanie, I made the watch cap, I believe, because it's a little bit longer. And he wanted to be able to fold the brim up, which you can. He's already worn it, and it's a little bit loose on me. It's a little bit stretched out, but. So this is my first finished object, if I didn't tell you that already. And I love how it turned out. It actually was really fun to knit. It did not take me that long. I think I was done within a week. And I don't knit like I used to. I used to knit nonstop, but I've definitely slowed down. But it was funny because as soon as we got home, he was asking me every day, did you start my hat? 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 Did you finish my hat? Did you finish my hat? So finally I was like, okay, your hat's on the needles. And it went pretty quick. It has some cabling, right and left leaning cables with columns of purl stitches. It's got a nice long rib edging, and the decreases were pretty easy. I didn't have any issues with the hat pattern at all. It was great. In fact, I would knit this again in a heartbeat, so I'm glad I have a pattern now. I actually would like to knit it in a lighter color so that you can see the cables a little bit better. I might as well talk about this as well. So while we were there, I also got yarn to make a hat for myself. So this is the one I picked for myself, the Elkins hat. And at the end of the episode, I'll go over the yarn that I bought there. So we'll talk about this more again. But so it's my first finished object. It's good. It's really good. He loves it. It fits wonderful. He said it's nice and warm, but not too warm. And his biggest issue was whether or not it was going to be itchy. And it is really not itchy at all. This yarn is very nice. In fact, I never even blocked this hat, so maybe I should. I don't know. I don't really know how to block hats adequately. I usually just let them dry flat, but whatever. I have a second finished object. I finished some Shorty Socks. And this yarn is Hedgehog Fiber Sock, and the color is called Potion. And this yarn is a yarn that I bought at, I think it's called Redbird Fiber Arts in Owego, New York. That's a relatively new yarn shop that opened in my hometown. So I bought this a couple of months ago when I went down for a visit. And it knit up great. I actually really like this yarn a lot, and I would knit with it again. It's just so dang expensive. But my Shorty Sock pattern, I do 15 rounds of straight stockinette so that it has this rolled edge. I did a heel flap and gusset, just a regular slip stitch heel, 64 stitches. And I do a barn toe, which is a rounded toe, which prevents the need for Kitchenering. I'm not a Kitchenering fan. So there's those. They're very soft. They've held up well to the washer and the dryer. And yeah, so there's 2 finished objects. Look at me go. It's the season, y'all. It's the knitting season. So I'll talk next about my whips. I am knitting a shawl. I'm keeping it in my mud bucket tote here. I love this bag. I wish it did have like a strap though, but I didn't go with the larger one just because it was more expensive. So I'm knitting a shawl with some yarn that I bought this summer when my friend Sydney and I went to the, oh boy, what's it called? Is it the Adirondack Fiber Show? There's like a little, it's smallish. It's held in Madison, New York. Maybe it's the CNY Fiber Fest. Anyway, I found this yarn at a booth called Mabel's Cables. A lovely woman chatted us up while we were there. And she had these skeins that have the assigned pooling to them. So I bought 2 skeins, and when I got home, I picked out a pattern by Dawn Barker of Barker Wool. She has done a lot of assigned pooling patterns. And I picked out one called Glide. I believe it takes 2 skeins. Here's where I'm at so far with the first skein. I haven't picked this up in a while, so it's a little bit like curled up and wacky. But here is my progress. It's pretty big so far. So as you can see, you do just regular stockinette with some things on the edges, you know, some decreasing and increasing. And when you get to the white bits, well, they're white, but they have some speckles in them too. So it's not just pure white. You do a special little cluster stitch. It's so fun. I mean, fun, but kind of dull. So that's why I put it down, because I'm kind of bored. But it's easy and pretty mindless. And I think it's going to be really kind of cool when it's finished. It's kind of looking like navy since I'm wearing all this black. And I think that's true. I think it's more navy than black. But yeah, so that's one of my whips. I don't know what else to say about it. It's pretty self-explanatory. I mean, it's not like super hard. I do have a stitch marker here because I have a dropped stitch I have to take care of. Yeah, it was something I noticed when I was well past it. So I will probably, who knows, fix that somehow. But yeah, it happens, right? So that is one current whip. The second whip that I am working on is the Westnet's Mystery Knitalong. So if you don't want to see where I'm at in that, if you are working on it and want to be surprised, I'm not that far. I'm about halfway through the first clue. So you can go ahead and fast forward it now so you don't see this. But I'm going to talk first about the yarns. So I wasn't going to knit this shawl. I wanted to wait to see what it looked like before I committed to it, because there have been mystery knit-alongs by Mr. West that I've done in the past where I don't like the pattern when I'm done. And it's it's a month long or sometimes longer project. And I was thinking, Lori, don't do it. Like, just wait until you see the whole thing and then decide. But it's so fun to knit it with everyone else. So the morning that the first clue came out, which was Thursday morning, I watched the clue because he puts videos out every week on instructions for the different techniques. And I was just sold immediately. As soon as I saw that video, I was like, yep, I need to make that. So I went upstairs and didn't think I was going to be able to come up with yarns for the project. But lo and behold, I did. I found some. And they're wonderful. So there are 4 colors. It's a gradient, so lightest to darkest. And I went with kind of a pinky purple vibe, which is not really my style, but I'm actually really loving it. So my color A is this Eden Cottage Yarns. This is the Milburn 4-ply. I did not have a very full skein of this one ball, so I may not have enough, but it's fine because I looked it up and I can get more of it. I just won't be the same dye lot, but it's fine. That's fine with me. So if I do run out, I'll order more, you know, no big deal. But this is my color A, so this is my lightest color. Here's my color B. This is Magpie Fibers Swanky Sock, so it's the MCN. And the color is called Desert Rose. And it's just the prettiest pink. I mean, just like kind of a fleshy, pinky color, but just enough difference between the two. The third color is another Magpie Fibers Swanky Sock. This color is called Wicked Game, and it's a very beautiful dusty plum. I love it so much. So there's my first 3, and then the fourth color is black. It does have a purple, it leans purple, believe it or not. And you'll be able to see when I show you my progress so far. But it does lean a little bit purple. This is Night Owl, that's the color, by Spun Right Round Classic Sock. This was a gift to me from Sydney, and it's working perfectly with my other colors. So let's see, show them to you. Aren't they good? They're so good. I'm so excited. The last mystery knit along that I did in purples and blues. That one was cool too. Okay, moving on. So while I was at Harrisville, oh, can I just tell you that store was just so great. I got a couple things. The first thing I picked up was the patterns for our hats. And oh, this is the leftover of Joe's hat yarn. So again, this is Nightshades, which is a DK weight. I do have the tag in here. Let me see. It's the color is Static. Grown in Montana, spun in New Hampshire. 12 delicate shades of black created for every mood and marbled with a dusting of color. So we used Static, which has just the little white flecks. I love the names of them, and I love the interior of the tag. So great. So this is American Cornmeal yarn. I ripped it right at the American Cornmeal and wool, approximately 250 yards, 100 grams Skein, 3.5 ounces DK weight. And then I don't know what I'm going to do with the rest of this. No idea. For my hat, I picked this because I'm in an orange era at the moment. Maybe it's because it's fall. I don't know. Maybe it's because that's what the sample was also knit in, and it was wonderful. So this is Highland, which is their woolen spun worsted workhorse yarn, 100% virgin wool, 200 yards. This color is Poppy, and it's fantastic. Just look at it. Oh, isn't it gonna be so good? So yeah, this hat, the Elkins hat, was written by Whitney Hayward, and it's got a chart, and it's got cables, and it's got lace. So we're gonna set that aside for now. The brain power isn't there at the moment, especially when I'm trying to navigate this thing. So I picked up those. Then I picked up this book. This is Vera Valamaki's newest book called Stripes, put out by Lina Magazine or Lina Publishers. I had been thinking about buying it for a while, and I was in that moment, and there it was, and I picked it up and went with it. So as I flipped through here, I thought, well, I would like to buy some yarn that could be used for a project in the book. So this was the project that I picked. It's a shawl, 2-color shawl. And it uses the fingering weight yarn. It's called Karna. Now, as I'm looking at the wall of cones, because I knew I wanted to buy the cones because the cones are 900 yards. Yes, that's a lot. This is not poppy. This is called zinnia. So it's a little bit pinker. I know it looks very similar here. It's just a little bit pinker, more like grapefruity. I don't know. I should have picked a more neutral duo. At least one color being a neutral, like this creamy white color. So I don't think I'm gonna knit this with these colors like I initially thought. But I was like comatose with the color. Like it was, you know, you're standing at the wall and it's like all of these beautiful colors, and I don't know. Are you like that? Do you have a hard time like buying white yarn? I don't know. It just seems like I just can't. It's kind of like buying plain fabric with no design on it. Like white fabric. Like nobody wants to spend money on that. Everybody wants to spend money on colors like this. So these are the two that spoke to me. I will probably end up buying a cone online that will go with either one or the other. I'm thinking this one. This with that kind of oatmeal color. That's what I'm thinking. But anyway, these are what I got. That's what I got there. That's it. This beautiful book. There are a few patterns in here that I could see myself making. Let me see if there's another one I can show you. Like, I really like the Maria shawl. Pretty basic, you know. That's my stomach growling, if you heard that. Yes, I did have breakfast. All the shawls in here are really great. I also really like this sweater. Just looks very wearable and comfortable. It's called Copy. Isn't it cute? I don't know. Will I knit that sweater? I don't know. But that's a nice book for my library. And then the only other thing I wanted to show you was some other yarn that I bought recently. I got sucked in. Gina from Skein Cocaine sucked me in. That's the cat snoring. In case you heard that. Can you hear that? Sounds like he's got a stuffy nose. Yeah. Because she knit a beautiful shawl with this mini skein set, so I've had to have it. It's the tweed, her tweed base. I don't even know if it has like a name. It doesn't have anything on the label, but yeah, I just love these colors so much. And I probably will just knit that same shawl she did because it just looked so beautiful. I loved it. It was kind of a stockinette striped shawl. I can't remember the name of it. But check out her most recent video, I think. That's where she showed it. And I was like, oh yeah, I need that in my life. So cool. Such good colors. That's it. 36 minutes. Trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to tell you. I don't think there is. If you have any questions about anything that I showed today, please leave them in the comments and I'll be getting back to you ASAP. If you have certain feelings about the Stephen West Mystery Knitalong change for Clue 1, leave that in the comment. Let's talk about it. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching my video, and I hope you come back to see the next one. Hopefully there won't be a 2-month hiatus in between, but you never know. There might be. There might not be. I hope you guys have a great weekend. I'm just gonna enjoy this very rainy Saturday and nurse the rest of this cup of coffee and probably knit on my shawl and do a bunch of laundry and write some pen pal letters. That's my day. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye. Thanks for watching.